If you're spending more time managing team drama than leading strategic initiatives, this video's for you. I'm Kyle Berger from Leadership Development That Works, and I'm going to show you a 5-step method that gets your team resolving conflicts independently, starting with you stopping one behavior that's actually making things worse. Here's what I see happening. Sarah complains about Mike's communication style. You listen, you give advice, you might actually go talk to Mike about it. Then the next week, it's Jake and Maria having issues. And before you know it, you're the unofficial therapist for every workplace disagreement your team is having. And here's the problem. When you solve their conflicts for them, you're teaching them they don't need to solve it themselves. The solution is what I call the coach method. Clarify the real issue. Transfer ownership back to them. Ask the right questions to build their skills. Coach them through the process and hold them accountable for follow-through, which is really important. This isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about building your team's capacity to handle it. Step 1, clarify the real issue. When someone brings you a conflict, resist the urge to jump in and immediately solve it. Instead, ask these questions. What specific behavior or outcome needs to change? And what would success look like with this issue? And when you ask those questions, you're not the next one to talk. Most workplace conflicts aren't actually about personality clashes. They're typically about unclear expectations or misaligned processes. When you help them get specific about the real issue, you're already halfway to a solution. Step 2, transfer ownership back to them. Ask, what do you think would happen if you addressed this directly with them? And what support do you need to have that conversation? Here's the key question you want to ask. What are you willing to do differently to help resolve this situation? Forces them to take responsibility for their part in the solution. It's really important to ask that question. And this is where most leaders get uncomfortable. We want to fix things quickly. But when you immediately step in, you're teaching your team that conflict resolution isn't their job, it's yours. Step 3, ask the right questions to build their skills. How will you start that conversation? What's your backup plan if they get defensive? What outcome are you hoping for? Step 4, coach them through the process. This is where you guide them without taking over. Help them think through potential responses, practice difficult parts of the conversation, and build their confidence. You're not abandoning them. This is key. You're building their capability to handle these situations independently. Step 5, hold them accountable for follow-through. Set a specific follow-up date. Let's check in Friday afternoon about how the conversation went. This ensures they actually have the conversation and gives you a chance to coach them through the results. Without that final step, people often avoid having the difficult conversation altogether. So follow-through is a really important part of this process, and you have to set that follow-through up as the leader. Now, there are times when you absolutely should step in. There's harassment, safety issues, or when someone's tried this approach and it just hasn't worked. But when you do step in, you want to bring both parties together and apply this same framework, asking questions like, what's the real issue here? What is each of you willing to do differently? And what would success look like for everyone with this issue? And again, as a reminder, when you ask those questions, you're not the next one to talk. Most workplace conflicts can be resolved by the people involved when they have the right coaching. And that's really what we're talking about here. Can you, as the leader, bring the right coaching to this situation? When you do and you're consistent with it, here's what changes. Your team becomes more self-reliant, conflicts get resolved faster because the people address them directly, and you get back to spending your time on the leadership work that actually moves your business forward. Check out my companion blog in the description for the complete framework and subscribe for more leadership strategies that actually work.